Hello, M. Good morning, girl. Nice to see you, visit with you this morning. Today is the 22nd of January, 2019, and I just wanted to welcome you into my presence. Thank you for being a part of my life, and thank you for clicking on the link and at least being open to having a face-to-face conversation. So today is the day after Martin Luther King Jr.'s Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and to celebrate and to honor the man, I went to the local celebration here in Lompoc, which we have at it's an auditorium that is near the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's on Chestnut Avenue, which is the avenue that I live on. So it's really close. It's a close walk. And in fact, I go to this Martin Luther King Jr. celebration every year because Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero of mine. I've mentioned that before in in the past. And there are a lot of things that I admire about Martin Luther King, his courage, his focus on pacifism, his speaking ability. I think there's a real strong maturity in his voice, and especially when you consider just how difficult his struggle was. Anyway, I did go visit with others at this celebration, and I saw people giving speeches honoring him and his ideas, dancers, people who had booths that were selling items to the community like food and clothing and artwork. I got to see a number of friends that were there, and it was nice to visit with them. And so it was nice to touch base and just hang out with people who were there to honor this man. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, then I went to the gym and I had a fantastic workout. I ran on the treadmill for 50 minutes. That's right, 50 minutes. And I've been working on something called the Jacob's Ladder, which is essentially like an inclined ladder that I think it's at an angle of 40 degrees from the ground. And you basically climb the rungs of the ladder. And I was able to stay on that sucker for 6 minutes, which is pretty good. I know that 6 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, and it isn't a long time to spend on a piece of cardiovascular equipment. But it can be very challenging. It's, in fact, quite a challenging piece of workout equipment. But I intend to get good at it. I intend to work on it every week and get stronger and stronger. In fact, I hope to eventually make it to maybe 30 minutes on the machine, maybe even 50 minutes on the machine. I think it's going to be a major staple of my workout, mainly because it's a low impact workout and it's actually highly functional. There's a lot of coordination of the upper body and lower body. And, it's actually kind of interesting and fun. It engages my mind and it burns a lot of calories. I mean, I only spent 6 minutes on that machine and I burnt 70 calories, which is a lot of calories to burn. That's me burning 70 calories in 6 minutes is like me running 8 miles an hour in 6 minutes. And what's nice about that machine is that I don't feel like I'm working out that much. And so the calorie expenditure, the calorie burn rate on that machine is huge. And so I think I'm going to use it as one of the staples of my workouts. I think my workout staples are going to be, this is what it's shaping up to be. It's shaping up to be running. And then, let's see, a Jacob's ladder and weights. And I guess that the staples of my weight training are the weighted pull-up, the weighted dip, the bench, the incline bench, and bicep curls of various kinds. At least that's what I think are of as the the real staples of. Oh, I also do leg press. Leg press hasn't, and machine squat. Both those haven't really come into their own yet. So I'll have to inform you later about how those are going. I do them, but I just don't. They're not necessarily a staple of my workout. Well, today is a red letter day, a very notable day, because classes start at Allen Hancock College, and today is the day that they start. My first class starts tomorrow. It's a welding class, which I think starts around 6:30 p.m. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I still need to buy the textbook for my welding class. And that reminded me about the classes that I took last semester. One of them was a machining class, and look what I have here. This is a piece of 6061 aluminum, 6061 T6 aluminum. And at my class at Allen Hancock College, I machined this wedge with a hole in it. I did it myself, and I machined it to certain dimensions and tolerances in the machine shop at the university. And boy, I tell you, I sure did learn a lot in that class, and I'm so grateful that I took it. I really am grateful that I got to know about, how to fashion metal and how to use different types of bits in the vertical mill, and using the vertical bandsaw and the horizontal bandsaw, and using I just think it's using these tools is I don't know, I really get a kick out of it. Now the question is, there are more classes to go to do in machining. I'm not sure that I'll go ahead and do any of those ones. I think I'm fine with the intros for now, just with the intro classes for now. Later on, I'm still trying to just widen my base of knowledge. And, I've taken an auto mechanics class, and I've taken a machine shop class. I'm about to take a welding class this semester. And I just want to get a sort of a broad base, just a broad introductory base of these industrial arts. Eventually, I'll start focusing, but I want to get a foundation that's broad, so that I can, figure out what I want to do and where I want to focus. I also count sewing as being an industrial art. I took a sewing class, was it last summer? Really enjoyed it. And so, sewing, automotive, machine shop, and welding, I mean, that's pretty good accomplishment just in the last year or so of covering those areas. And I've been thinking about going into agricultural sciences and learning more about plants and maybe animal raising. And then I was thinking about going into cooking, maybe taking 1 or 2 cooking classes. So there is plenty of information for me to sample. The industrial arts are broad and expansive. And, I just hope that Alan Hancock can sort of deliver on the promise of offering the classes that I think are interesting. There's certain areas that Alan Hancock doesn't necessarily touch in their instructions, in their classes. For example, I would like to get more instruction on electrical systems, plumbing systems, and woodworking systems. Woodworking, plumbing, electrical. I really want to get interested in that, and I think I need to get more familiar with what kind of classes are going on. I have a feeling that in those areas, what's going on in those areas is mostly just people who are what is it called? When there are people who sort of tag along with the pros. Internships. Yeah, I think most of those classes are sort of internship style, and I want to get to know how to participate in an internship so that I can learn more about plumbing and electrical work. Anyway, as you can tell, it's this whole thing I'm trying to put together. I'm trying to become a more balanced engineer, a more well-rounded person. And thankfully, Alan Hancock's there to help me out, give me a boost. So I appreciate that. So maybe what we can do is, I was thinking about going through the Attitudes of Gratitude, my book notes, because I've been reading this book by M.J. Ryan, and I might as well go ahead and go through a couple of them. I've been touching on a few passages that I highlighted while reading this book, and let's go through 1 or 2 right now. So here's a passage that I highlighted in the book. It's on page 122, and the passage reads, "If we expect someone or something outside ourselves to make us happy, we lose our power. The truth is, we can't count on anything except our ability to choose how to respond to what happens to us." I thought that was a pretty profound statement, and I particularly like where it says this, the first part, where it says that if we expect someone or something outside of ourselves to make us happy, we lose our power. And I want to just talk about that, about the disempowering aspect of being focused on external sources of happiness. I think this whole idea of being disempowered, I think there's just a lack of understanding, really, about the source of happiness. I think people fail to realize that the happiness factory exists in our mind. It's about the meaning that we put together in our minds that sort of trigger or give us the emotions that we value so much. It's really about the meaning, right? It's about the interpretation. It's about the frame, right? Your perspective. And in fact, you might have one external situation, and depending on how you interpret that situation will determine the emotions that you feel. Yeah. And let me just say that again, because that's such a critical point. You might have identical external situations, but it's the meaning, it's the interpretation that you make, it's your perspective which generates the emotions that you have. Here's an example. There are people who are afraid of spiders, right? let's say you line up 100 people, and you offer each one of them a spider, and this it's the same spider, and let's say you do it all at the same time, and they're standing side by side, and so the experience of each one of these 100 people is completely identical, right? So tell me about some of the emotional reactions that we can expect from this random sample of 100 people. Well, I don't know what the exact statistics are. I'm going to make this up, but I'm going to suggest to you that maybe 80% of people receive the spider in a fairly neutral way. Maybe they're interested or intrigued, but 20% recognize the novelty of receiving the spider. That's 80%. 20%, let me suggest, are a little unnerved about the spider, right? They're a little anxious about having a spider so close in proximity to them. Maybe they're a little wigged out by the spider. They've got some concerns. They worry about the spider stinging them or attacking them somehow, or jumping around and startling them, right? So that's about 20%. And I would guess that maybe just us of that 20%. There's probably people who have a whole range of emotional reactions, and there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people who are really spooked by being presented with a spider. So, and then on the other end, I could imagine there are arachnophiles out there who love spiders. I can imagine out of a random sampling of 100 people, there might be 1 or 2 people out there who just are who adore spiders and are eager to reach out and receive the spider that's being offered. So tell me about what's going on. We've got 100 people randomly selected from just society. They're all having the same experience in their external situation, but the emotional reactions are all different. Some people love the fact that the spider is there. Some are amused and interested. Others are concerned and may even have feelings of panic confronted with the spider. So what's going on? The brain is manufacturing all these emotions, and what could be the cause? What could be the cause of all these different emotions? And let me suggest to you that it's the meaning that the people have built up over time. People condition themselves, and their environments condition them to have certain perspectives and give meaning to their lives and their situations. And it's what generates the emotion are the meanings, the beliefs of each and every person. Even though the external situation is the same, it's the exact same. Some person offering them a spider. So what does that tell you about relying on external situations to bring you happiness? Well, I'll tell you what it tells me. What it tells me is that, if I want my external reality to provide sort of the emotional fuel, the kinds of emotions that I want to emote, it's going to take a lot of work to, craft my external environment in such a way that I emote the emotions that I want to emote. There is a quicker way, a more direct way, and that is by changing your perspective, by reframing your external environment. There there are ways. If you are if you are an arachnophobe, afraid of spiders, there are ways to become an arachnophile. There are ways. It's about changing your beliefs about what spiders are and what they do and how they relate to you. And vice versa. You can also go from an arachnophile to an arachnophobe. How does one change their opinions? Going from arachnophile to arachnophobe or arachnophobe to arachnophile? How do you do it? Well, it's about making decisions. And it's about, it's also kind of like about what information, where you focus your attention, what facts you focus your attention on. I have a feeling that the arachnophile is just fascinated by spiders and just maybe reads a lot of maybe scientific material about spiders, and maybe the artistic material that they receive, that they sort of intake. I have a feeling that it's very flattering about how wonderful spiders are and how beneficial they are to the world, to the planet, and to humans. The arachnophobe, on the other hand, is focusing on the opposite material. The problems that spiders may bring, the diseases and the injuries that they may cause. So a lot of it is about deciding what information you focus on. It's about what facts do you focus on? And, anyway, I think that's a pretty critical point. I'm going to have a sort of a shorter session today because I got to get to work. I'm running a little late today, regrettably. But anyway, Emily, I was really glad to spend some time with you and talk about this really critical point about, how it's more empowering, really, to change your mind than change your reality. Changing your mind is easy to do. Changing your reality is hard to do. And I think, Emily, you could be more empowered, that it's empowering to recognize how, if you want to emote certain emotions like happiness or joy, peace, how changing your mind is really the shortcut to, living a happy, productive life. Anyway, I love you, girl. I hope you have a fantastic day today. I hope you have a fantastic remainder of the week. And I'll talk to you later. And peace and love. Do you see that? These are two hearts. There's, is that the peace symbol? That's the peace and the I love you symbol. And look, hearts. Hearts to you, my dear daughter. Take care. All right.